Welcome to the Diversify Inspiring Leaders podcast. Our guest today is Dipali Pallai. Dipali is an expert in HR strategy and operations, M&A, and change management, with a focus on DEI, POSH, and corporate governance. With over 18 years of diverse multicultural industry experience, working in industries such as retail, healthcare, pharma, education, and tech startups, she brings a powerful combination of skills and a unique insight that play a pivotal role in guiding organizations towards sustaining growth and development. Welcome, Dipali.
Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you for having me, and it's a pleasure to be here today.
So tell us a little bit about yourself and how you became so passionate about HR and about helping startups build their HR functions.
Absolutely. HR happened by accident. It actually found me and not the other way around. Over 20 years ago, I started my career with a financial institution. And thanks to fate or a twist of fate, so to speak, during post-their orientation program, I ended up landing a role within their UK team in a pilot HR operations process. At that point of time, I had no idea what HR was at all. However, that experience sparked my curiosity in people, processes, and culture. And I was also one of the youngest unofficial team leaders for that program, while my manager was on medical leave. So during that time, even though it was a short period, it gave me a real view, uh, front view seat of what is happening in the corporates, what's happening in leadership. It's not just about hard work, it's also about building relationships and businesses. And I was so fortunate to learn something so crucial at the beginning of my career. And at that point, I also realized that maybe I should get some sort of academic grounding in HR over and above my practical experience. And from that perspective, and also from a perspective of, is this something that would interest me from a long-term view, right? So taking that thought, I started going to college in the morning to study my post-graduation in HR and then headed off to work. So then while both of them were happening simultaneously, I knew that this is exactly where I want to be. And that being said, the financial institution that I was working with was extremely process driven, as it should be. But me being the curious person that I am, who constantly reveled in change and challenge, I wanted to see what was out there for me. Was there something more than just policies and processes? Is there something differently that I can contribute to? And this caused me to move to Chennai, where I worked with a venture capital firm. I joined a boutique firm where I had an opportunity to work with multiple startups across industries, across life cycles, and also across funding cycles. And apart from the technicalities of working and building startups, I also learned a lot about the psychology of business owners. Things like, and this happened by studying constantly how they work, what drove them to make decisions, what was working for them, what was not, and more importantly, how crucial it was to have the right person on top. And just working with so many people gave me a lot of insight that it's not just a product or an idea, it's the person at the helm that's running the whole show. Post my stint with a VC firm, I got married, came back to Hyderabad, and then started working with Fab India and Nephroplus. And these were extremely pivotal in my learning and growth. I give a lot of credit to every organization that I worked with, but more so Fab India and Nephroplus. Every company that I worked with taught me something new. It gave me a deep appreciation of on the complexities of HR, from organization restructuring to funding to international feasibilities, mergers and acquisitions, cultural dissemination, so on and so forth. I can go on and on. It was all extremely rewarding, albeit challenging. Those experiences taught me HR is not just about policies. It's about helping people thrive. It's about helping organizations grow. And this is a fundamental focus of mine, this intersectionality of employee experience and organization bottom line. And that's what I still continue to work towards with every organization that I work with. And finally, coming to how I got where I am today, I always wanted to venture out on my own. However, I thought I'll do that much later in life. But COVID being the watershed moment that it was, it got me to reevaluate my priorities and ask the question, if not now, then when? And that we don't know what the future holds, right? And that question led me to where I am today, running my own brand, Quinsugi Advisors, where I provide HR strategy, coaching, and advisory services. So I work, Sylvia, not just with startups, but also with growth stage organizations. I help them build their entire HR function. I work with them from a change management and a OD perspective as well. I am a leadership and a business coach, and as you know, an ESG certified and HR focused independent director. And I also sit on the board of advisors. I also contribute as much as I can by working with multiple women-led organizations like Diversify. And that's a little bit about me. So I hope a brief introduction about me.
Thank you so much. There was something interesting you said about there were certain opportunities that came your way. It's not everybody who gets these opportunities actually takes them and makes something of it. So what would be your learning from your life experience in terms of opportunities coming along and really actually thriving with them?
Uh, Looking back, like you mentioned, whatever I have achieved so far is purely due to my willingness of taking chances and stepping into the unknown. Some of my biggest learnings and milestones in my careers have happened because I was willing to raise my hand and say, hey, I'd love to do this. And that itself it's such a small thing that many people are afraid to even put their hand up and ask, right? For example, the VC firm that I was talking about, I went up to my boss and I actually said two things to him. I said, I've done something in HR and I want to work with my clients, not just as a research analyst, but also from a HR perspective. He said, go for it. If our clients are willing to work with you, go ahead and do it. And that for me was a big game changer. Another thing is while working with these clients, and that entire aspect of psychology came in. At that point of time, I couldn't do a full-fledged course, but I again went up to my boss and said, hey, I want to do this course in behavioral sciences. Can you help me with the funding? I was still very early in my career. I didn't have that kind of capital to put in at one time. And he said, Dipali, I went up to him with this very clearly crafted payback plan of how he can cut it from my salary. And he said, Dipali, I'm going to pay this for you as long as you come first, you top your class. That was his only ask for me. And I ended up getting a gold medal for my behavioral sciences from LIBA. But what I was trying to showcase here is just go and ask. They may say no, but what if they say yes? And that is so important, right? And when I went to my clients, I was really young, and they didn't say why are you coming in and saying you want to help us with HR and things like that. They were very happy for me to work with them, experiment with them. I set up an entire call center for one of my client based on my earlier experience, and a lot of it was also on the job learning. I learned with them. So these are small things that have really helped me. I think another very important aspect as a multiplier for me was working in multiple different kind of industries. I've worked across, as you had mentioned earlier, retail, healthcare, finance, startups, so many different NGOs also. I work with social impact organizations as well. And while people are at the heart of it, how they interact and how they work in every industry is very, very different. And I could gain that nuanced understanding only by working in these different fields. So again, step out into the unknown, right? Because you're never going to be ready 100%. Just lean into what you know and have the conviction that you would be able to do it, going forward. And I think a lot of it, while I did have a few milestones during my corporate career, and I think one very pivotal one was me winning my HR 100 under 40 award while I was working with Nephroplus, and also my promotion there in Nephroplus. It really did give me a lot of confidence that I am doing at least something right within the organization and also outside. Uh, I think also something very important that happened for me is when I stepped out of the corporate, I actually went in with a negative network of people because I was limiting myself to the people within the organization as a network. I never really looked outside the organization. I was happy building with the organization, right? And I don't want to say it was a mistake that I made, but it was something maybe I could have done. So when I stepped out, except for the people that I worked with, I didn't know anybody else. And as someone who was extremely private and introverted, it was a big challenge for me to speak with people that I don't know and have conversations. And one thing that I did there was, again, every week I decided to have two conversations with people that I didn't know at all, with no agenda. And that really helped me step out of my comfort zone. So these are a few things that really worked for me in terms of learning and in terms of my milestones as well.
Thank you so much. That is really a challenge that you took on in terms of being able to speak with people that you don't know. And I think a lot of women might have a similar problem. Honestly, I can say 20 years ago, I wasn't an extrovert either. I mean, I'm leaning in that direction, but I never had the chance business-wise to speak with that many people. And only with Diversify now, I'm actually really enjoying the conversations I'm having with people like yourself and learning from each other. What is the next chapter that you're looking for? Because you were saying there's a lot of industry experience you have, there's a lot you can give. So, what can companies hire you for as a board member, as an advisor, as a C-level person? What are you looking for?
Uh, right now, I find myself wearing several hats, and I do genuinely love the variety of it. And everyone says, focus on one thing, but I do enjoy the variety of it because it allows me to meet with so many people. What I do in terms of work is, and the reason I enjoy it is I'm helping, for example, build the HR function for startups, but at the same time, I'm working with growth stage organizations, and I revel in the complexity of change management and helping the organization springboard to the next level that they are kind of stuck in, right? So there are two sides of the same coin when it comes to HR, but I enjoy doing both. And I really want to see myself continuing to do that. And because of the fact that I work with so many business owners and entrepreneurs, it's a natural progression for me to continue as coaching and as a mentor and coach for them. I'm also, I didn't mention this earlier, but I'm a mentor on multiple platforms. I work with both, and especially women and business owners. So I want to continue doing that. In terms of the advisory boards, that is something I'm already working on. I want to work with a lot more companies from that perspective, because sometimes they may not have the team that they want to at that point of time, and they need someone to guide them. And I absolutely love, again, building things with people. That is my primary passion. So an advisory role is something that I definitely would love to do. I am doing and would love to continue to do in the future. Coming to the independent director bit, I think the next chapter for me would ideally involve joining boards that are open to fresh perspectives. Number one, I would love to be on boards of companies who value people as much as they value the bottom line, because these are spaces where I've seen firsthand how strong people strategy can be a game changer. And I believe companies will benefit from my experience by tapping into that blend of HR strategy, coaching, change management, and also the entire gamut of companies and industries that I worked with, because I've not limited myself to just one industry or one company in a specific life cycle. I'm not just about frameworks, I'm also about understanding the nuances of each business and helping them navigate the change that is sustainable and inclusive. So that's where my head is at right now.
Yeah, thank you so much. And thank you for mentioning that you are mentoring, because that brings me to my next question about you are mentor with Diversify for the Global Leader Certification Program. We were very grateful for that. And we would like to hear from you. What are some of the important messages you have for women mid-career who aspire for global leadership roles?
Uh, this is a thread that I've been mentioning as I was speaking throughout our conversation. I'd start by saying back yourself. Don't wait till you feel that you're 100% ready, because that day may never come. And as women, it is statistically proven that we rarely ever raise our hand until we feel we are 100% ready, unlike men who, even at a 60 or 70%, will say, I'm going to get into it and then learn learn while I'm working, right? The second thing that I would say is seek out mentors and sponsors who will advocate for you and challenge you to grow. That is very important. And especially for women who are in their mid to senior career range, do a lot of cross-functional projects. Speak with people outside just your department. Understand how every aspect of the business is working, irrespective of the department that you're in. Because as leaders, it's not just your technical experience, but it is also understand how the business works overall. And that is very, very important. And many people kind of limit themselves to just the department that they are working in. But when you uh, seek out the knowledge that other departments are doing and people are doing, you understand not just your organization but what is happening outside as well. I recently was listening to Dr. Ramcharan, and he said, have your finger in the wind, which means that know what is happening outside. It is very important for you to know not just what's happening within your own internal ecosystem, but externally as well. And finally, I think maybe I would say keep learning, stay curious, don't be afraid to take on opportunities. And something I always say is get comfortable with getting uncomfortable. That is the truth of the matter.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Dipali. Very valuable insights, and we'll look forward to hearing you again soon.
Thank you for having me, Sylvia. Have a nice day.